Welcome to LezCast. I am your host, Amanda Costner, and we are recapping Season 1, Episode 8, the finale of First Kill today. With me is someone who was once referred to as La Vampire herself. We can maybe explain that story, maybe not, if she doesn't want to. My wife, Ro.
Hi.
Did you wanna explain the story, or no? Okay. This is the finale. We're here. Like, it went by really fast.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like the story like moved very quickly overall, and so the episodes went by fast. And
unlike this recap, which is coming out quite a bit later than after the season has ended.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But hey, there's people listening to it 2 weeks from now, and we got the recap out early for those people.
Yeah. It's all relative.
What are your overall thoughts on the finale?
Overall, I really liked it. You know, as per usual, they ended with a cliffhanger. They kind of also like gave more information about certain things, like the backstory between Cal's mom and her sons. You know, like they were that part of like their
we
family
finally understand
yeah.
that when Theo was 7 years old, Talia comes into the picture,
right.
and she doesn't just come into the picture. This episode, if there's one thing I took away from it, it is Talia is a fucking mother. She
a badass.
There is no, she does not one time say the word step. She has 3 children, and we know, like, we can feel how much she loves these 3 children. I was so impressed with Talia during this finale.
She was really fierce, and she was really awesome. Yeah, she was like my favorite character by the end.
Absolutely.
Of the show, yeah.
If somebody would have asked me midway through the season, I would have been like, oh, I like this character, I like that character. After the finale, Talia. Team Talia,
I feel
all the
like
way.
Both moms were like kind of awesome in this episode, actually.
I mean, let's be honest. Some of our admiration might have a little to do with those, the lingerie scene that we see Margot in. I mean,
it didn't hurt. Yeah.
They were really highlighting her assets.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, she that helped. But then she's also, I don't know, she was also kind of like in her own way trying to help her kids. She has like a different way of showing her affection, I guess, or I think she even says something like that. But
right, there was a line she says to her husband. I don't show it the same way you do, which I took to mean like I don't show it in a conventional way, but I love my kids just as much as you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought this episode really highlighted like the 2, fierce, badass moms. Mothers.
Interesting that we both walked away thinking about the moms instead of our Romeo and Juliet, instead of Cal and Juliet.
Yeah. Well, I think like their story ended with conflict, so it wasn't. Yeah, like it was. I want to know what happens next with that, but there actually wasn't much interaction between them. I'm thinking like there wasn't much one-on-one interaction.
Yeah, it was
like more.
We had gotten used for a few episodes. I feel like we got used to seeing them one-on-one, and you're right. This episode they were together, but the only time they were one-on-one was when they were like going to the bar, I think, and that was very short.
All of their interactions had to do with other things happening,
it wasn't really about their love.
Exactly. Yeah. So there wasn't. I would say it wasn't as like engaging in terms of the episode wasn't the engaging thing about the episode. Maybe wasn't. It didn't. It was everything their relationship as much. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's jump in. First betrayal. That's the title. Juliet and Cal find Theo in the bathroom. With Apollo, and Apollo clearly has had his memory messed with by Eleanor. And what's interesting, we talked about this a little bit earlier, is that later on the audience realizes through a flashback that this whole time Theo was alive. They're all like,
Yeah.
Assuming nobody checks the pulse.
That was a little odd that, like, yeah, they were like, you know, like,
Juliet didn't even so much as use her power. Do I hear a faint
right.
heartbeat?
Yeah. She should have been able to recognize it.
Or she did, maybe, right away, and let them think that he was dead so she could save him. No,
that's out of character, though.
But her intention was to drain him and kill him, which I also... Can we just talk about that? Why is she wanting to drain him?
Yeah, I think there was, like, a lot of things about the story that, like, didn't make sense. Like, I know why they did it. They had to, like, create the situation where she turns her brother into a vampire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Juliet turns...
Did they? I think a lot of fans thought she was going to end up turning Cal.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, I think maybe eventually, but they have to, like, lead up to that, right?
They were going to get 2 turns?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Theo is just the appetizer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cal's going to be the real meat.
And part of, like, the whole thing about the relationship is she's a vampire hunter and the other one's a vampire, so, like, they have to keep those dynamics for at least a little bit longer, for at least one more season.
Good point.
You know, like, they can't just turn the vampire hunter into a vampire right away. You have to, like, you know,
yeah,
build up to that. So yeah.
I thought it was interesting. They Apollo starts reciting the Guild's creed, and I believe I jotted down as much as I could. Yeah. I got, when hearts drive us, duty and logic leave us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't make out what they were saying.
This is like their Lord's Prayer. Yeah, that's what Apollo does when he's stressed.
Right, yeah.
What I thought was weird was, okay, I get that you don't know what happened, but, you know, it's not like Apollo forgot words. It's not like Apollo forgot how to, you know, stand up and wash his hands and stuff. Why doesn't he go, oh, clearly this person, I may not remember who this person is, but he did. Clearly this person's injured. Maybe take him to a hospital. Then they might have discovered he's not dead. Call your parents. Let your parents know. I was a little confused as to why Apollo was, like, just sat there.
Yeah, that was a little bit... I mean, I guess, like, I kind of just assume, like, whatever mind melding thing that...
what's her power? Eleanor has the powers.
Yeah, like, I guess, like, maybe it, like, disorients you, and, you know, maybe it's not just, like, it might not just be a memory.
I think you're right.
It might affect other parts of your cognition, where you're just, like, you know, kind of, like, don't know where you are, disoriented, you know, briefly, and then eventually he came to you. Yeah. It's like a concussion or something.
Nonetheless, Juliet uses about, what I saw was 10 to 12 paper towels, completely cleans up the mess. Just a little water. Did you know that?
I know. That was, like, kind of like, if you got stabbed, there would be, like, blood everywhere, right? Like,
but did you know you could just clean it up with some water and some paper towels?
And just, like, a few paper towels. Yeah, that's
how convenient.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe she yeah. Never mind.
You thought she had some chemical grade.
I was gonna say maybe she, like, grabbed a straw and, like, you know. Then I was like, oh, that's super gross. So wait, good point. Juliet doesn't like to kill. Throw the blood pills away. Just lick up the scene. Yeah,
you know,
that's kind of gross in the bathroom and stuff.
Right. She doesn't want the germs.
So,
Good point. Careful. She pieces out, and I'm thinking, what did she do with the body? They don't really ever tell us. I guess he left. He just leaves.
Right. Yeah, that's, like, I guess what happened. Yeah.
But Eleanor seems to have left her lipstick, Heartstopper, like a calling card. Do you think this is where Netflix got the name of the show, Heartstopper?
Oh, you know what? I wonder. That must be a like a little nod to their.
You think it's an egg?
It must be, right? Like, because Heartstopper is another Netflix show, right?
Yeah, but Heartstopper came out shortly before First Kill. Like, the two shows get compared all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking they were in production at the same time, or close to the same time.
Yeah, I think it must be a little nod.
Oh, see, I just thought it was a coincidence, and I just wanted it to be a nod. But maybe it is. You know what? Let's just both assume it's a nod. And then when Apollo and Cal get back to monster hunting headquarters, they see Theo just chilling.
Yeah. That was so interesting. Like, that was definitely like they were trying to mess with you, because I think we both talked about how we thought that, like, that initially when we first watched it, we thought that wasn't Theo, and maybe, like, somebody was pretending to be Theo, or like, you know, had.
Well,
I thought like Eleanor might have like drank some potion and turned into Theo temporarily, and then was turning back, and that's why like I had a totally different kind of idea about what was happening.
Well, it's not anybody else. We get upstairs to Theo's room, and it's like, ta-da! Theo's a vampire!
Right, yeah. And then the other weird thing about that, I think we talked about this too, the other weird thing was like Theo was like he basically made up some story about what happened. So that didn't make any sense. That he would,
why did he do that?
Yeah, like he was like, oh yeah, you beat up this big strong vampire, and he was like laughing, and you know, like that didn't make. It seemed out of character for Theo if it truly was Theo.
The whole incident.
That was
first
a little
of all,
odd, yeah.
Spoiler alert. I'm just going to give my thoughts now on the incident. To me, it makes no sense that the family is all mad at Juliet. Even Cal. Clearly, Juliet, I thought, saved him. Shouldn't they be like high-fiving her? Thanks for not letting him die. We were the ones leaving him there suffering.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also think, like, I do kind of get why they're mad at him. Why they're mad at her, because
they would prefer him to be dead?
Like, literally the dad would have preferred, like, wanted to kill him, you know? So, like, I actually do think that kind of made sense, even though, you know, other parts of the episode, like, were, like, a little
okay,
sketchy,
well then, let's just jump in. Why does Jack Burns prefer dead Theo to vampire Theo?
I mean, to me, it reminds me of like really hardcore, you know, religious people or something. Yeah.
Does it remind you of my parents?
Yes. I mean, yeah. But like, I mean, people are. I agree. Like, you and me are like, we can't imagine that, but there are people who are like that, who are literally so stuck in their views or in their ways that they're like, I would literally prefer to, like, you know, not have a relationship with my kid, or, you know, if
I mean,
you know.
This is a show where a lesbian couple is the front and center. I have to imagine maybe this, like, is some sort of a play on, you know, maybe a queer writer wrote this. You know, I referenced my parents as a joke, but like my parents really did like cut me out of their lives when they learned I was gay, and it was like this. It was, they absolutely would have preferred me to not exist. Like, you know, shit just got serious on the pod. Yeah, but you know, it's the truth.
It's like kind of like I don't know if they're doing it on purpose. Maybe they are, but they're drawing a parallel between, like, you know, like anti. You know, bigotry against.
Yeah, they've got the ma'ams. They're definitely drawing some parallels.
Yeah, and their whole guild is like a religious cult, as you were alluding to earlier with that
Lord's Prayer,
the prayer that they So it's like, so there is a little bit of like, I think there are some parallels between like religious bigotry and like this guild's like anti-vampire bigotry, maybe. Yeah, I think
is it bigotry though? They're trying to protect the humans.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what religious people say, right? We're trying to, there's always some justification,
right? They're trying to protect our souls.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, but then, you know, like their means, and they're not always doing it in the right way, and then like, you know, not all vampires are bad, as we learned with Juliet. So it's you know, it's.
Well, Juliet confronts her sister about Theo and borrows a line from Tiger King. Goes all, the Burns will never recover from this.
I didn't understand that one.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
You don't remember that line from Tiger King?
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's just a line where Juliet's like, the Burnses will never recover from this. And it totally reminded me of Tiger King.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
I guess I was the only one.
Yeah.
Thinking about Tiger King.
Yeah, I usually don't think about Tiger King much.
Eleanor is like, we don't follow things like rules. We don't have things like a moral compass.
Yeah, right.
Juliet calls Eleanor a gaslighter and a soulless murderer. Woohoo!
Yeah,
that's pretty harsh.
They had like a pretty big fight there. That was like building up, right? Like for the whole 8 seasons, they've been like kind of like, you know, they're so different, and they're like, their differences have been coming out, and then it's just kind of like came to a head.
I thought it was interesting though that Juliet wasn't so mad at Eleanor after their like acid blood tripping murdering that one guy. Yeah. She really got mad after it started affecting her relationship.
True, you're right. So Juliet's kind of like maybe not so perfect after all.
I don't think she liked any of it, but
Yeah.
the line was clearly, my girlfriend's family has been affected by this,
Right,
so
right.
you've crossed a line.
Like, it's okay. It's okay. I don't think she likes killing people, but like, she's like, wasn't as she didn't give Eleanor as hard a time about.
Yeah.
Sorry. I can't remember, but anyways, yeah.
And then what did you think when Juliet just knocks over Eleanor's makeup in a rage?
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. Yeah.
And then Eleanor, is like aggressive with her.
Yeah. It was like a pretty good fight.
I'll never forgive you for this. That's Juliet's line to Eleanor. And then Eleanor's like, you better hope I forgive you.
Yeah. I felt like Juliet, really was, giving it back to her, whereas, before, Juliet's been more docile and more, maybe, quieter and has let, Eleanor be, the more dominant one. I felt like Juliet was, staying up to her more and being more aggressive.
I don't know if you noticed this, but throughout the show, Eleanor refers to Juliet as little sweet or little one, something like that.
Okay,
little
yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think up until now, Eleanor really sees Juliet as a little Bambi, to be controlled. And, this world, she's not made for this world. Even in their fight, I think she says something like, I am what you should be. And now, like you said, Juliet is no longer little Bambi.
Yeah, she's standing up for herself and standing up to her sister, and she's kind of having this coming, this sort of coming of age type thing. I guess the whole thing is coming of age, but just having this where she's just standing up for herself more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we get back to Monster headquarters, and I found this little scene kind of funny where I think it's the scene where Jack Burns and Talia take Cal's cell phone maybe, but I know there's one part where they are literally like, hey, Cal, you seem on edge. Is anything wrong? And I was like, what are they talking about? Of course everything's wrong.
Everything's, even though they didn't know what was going on with Theo and stuff, everything's been things have been building up for a while.
They show that Juliet goes to sleep at one point, and I'm like, who's sleeping through this? That nobody's asleep.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Craziness. Yeah. I also thought it was funny that they were like, oh, the guild has cleared our names, but we have to be careful. They're doing twice-a-day drive-bys.
Yeah, that was really weird. I feel like the guild is really sketchy. They're I feel like they don't trust their
What are they
members.
doing? What in these drive-bys? What are they sending
It's
somebody by, roll down the window? Don't see
an eye on them.
Don't see any vampires.
Yeah,
all right.
I guess so. Yeah,
I'll be back in 7 hours.
They're being watched, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. We get Juliet seeming to contemplate killing her sister.
Yeah.
But
she walks in her room and has a creepy look in her eyes or something.
Yeah.
Her teeth come out. And,
But instead, what does she do? She turns to Oliver, her brother.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think she's fully bought into, Eleanor's the bad sister, Oliver's the good twin. But you and I discussed, I now think they're just both bad. They're both using Juliet for their own agenda.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And they're just bad in different ways. It seems like Oliver has some evil plan, right?
Of course. The last 5 seconds of the episode is look at all these cheesy monsters in my backyard.
I know, yeah.
What are you gonna do with them?
I know. That was so random. Yeah. It was a close figure, I guess, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
It was it looked almost goofy, though, the different type of monsters.
But before that, we learn Juliet has ratted out Eleanor, and I was like, oh my god, the crazy storage locker! They're gonna see all the evidence.
That psycho locker, yeah.
Okay, so when the police come to the house, why does Eleanor let them take her? You see, she kind of wants to rampage, and then she just goes with it.
And I think she was listening to her parents. The dad was like, just let them, just go, whatever. But then he acknowledged later, I think he was talking to his wife, and he was like, the mom was like, it might serve her well. She might learn something if she's in prison. And he's like, she's just gonna drink everybody. Yeah.
He's she's just gonna murder them all.
She's not gonna do well in prison. Yeah.
I don't know what Margot is on. Our
Right.
prison system does not rehabilitate people, especially not people like Eleanor.
Even that stuff, that issue aside, exactly. That's even an additional reason,
But, oh my god, Ro. How hot was it when Talia hears whatever's going on in Thea's room and, like, knocks that door down? Like, I was like...
Yeah, she was like, I'm gonna take care of business. Yeah, exactly.
The whole episode is Talia taking care of business.
Talia is just... Awesome.
But it goes from hot to not. They chain poor Theo to that dentist chair. This was a little hard to watch for me.
That was disturbing. I know, especially like, I mean, it was so just the whole thing where the dad was gonna kill him. That was like pretty.
Honestly, for me, I felt super triggered. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to be watching this right now. Like, you know. Yeah. But I'm glad that like Talia saved him. I think they only show, they don't show that scene if he is going to get killed. Right. So I understand why we were shown that scene.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty disturbing actually. I mean, I think that was like probably one of the darkest thing. Like, even though they show a lot of gore in this show, I think that was like one of the that was like probably the darkest moment in terms of like just the emotional content and the storyline and whatnot. And that, I don't know, like, I feel like if I was like Talia, I would never be able to forgive the husband for that, for like wanting to do, like, I feel like that's like a line that you should
Are
not
you
cross.
saying that our marriage might be in trouble if I ever want to murder our offspring? You don't think we would make it through that?
I am saying that.
So that's the line, okay? Murdering our children, that's the line. Okay, good to know. Oliver shows up in the Armani version of a blood-soaked shirt. Did you notice his outfit when he was pretending to be a lawyer?
And I actually, that's so funny that you said that, because I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, is it just a blood-soaked shirt? And then I realized...
No, I think the show wants you to think like, ooh, what's going on? And
like
I think
fancy...
Oliver's character, I think, is messing with everybody's minds and stuff.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Do you think Oliver is a lawyer, or he just used his powers to get into the police station?
Oh, he definitely, like, uses powers.
Okay, so he's not a real lawyer.
Yeah, that was, like, the impression.
Which, again, I just have to say, why doesn't Eleanor use her powers to get out? Her character does not seem like somebody who would just sit in prison.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think initially she thought she's kind of, like, listening to her dad, and he was like, just go and I'll help you. And then,
what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think she's gonna bust out of prison?
Yeah, I mean, if the parents don't help her, I think she's just gonna like rampage and bust out probably. Interesting.
Okay, we finally learn about the big incident from their childhood during this scene.
Oh, right.
And,
yeah, that was another thing we learned. Like, I feel like we learned a lot. Tie up a lot of loose ends. Not a lot, but a few.
So, Oliver did kill a turtle and a couple other people, but really, the way he portrays it, it was Eleanor pulling the strings, like, manipulating him.
Yeah, like she was like the mastermind or something, Which kind of that's consistent with her. She has that special skill, and then she's also just, she is kind of like a psycho. Like, she just kind of like messes with people for no reason or for fun or something.
The question is, if she's a psycho, are they both psychos? I mean, they're twins.
I get the sense that Oliver, so like I think Oliver does have like a heartless streak to him as well, because they
killed Smashley, him and Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, Smashley. How can you kill Smashley? Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah.
Shout out Smashley.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned her in a few recaps.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I get the sense that maybe he has like a little bit more, I don't know, like just he is a little bit more like sensible. He's a little more sensible or something. I don't know. Or
sensible. Okay.
I was gonna say like more humane, but I'm not even sure if that's true.
I have to say, I was disappointed that this is what we got. They've been talking about this big incident for 8 episodes now, and it turns out it was just murdering a camp counselor, a turtle, and their therapist, which was like kind of funny.
Yeah, the way that they showed it was like
Margo comes in, she's like,
she's like, oh man,
the therapist was for your help, not to be drained.
I know, that is kind of funny actually. Like, just, I mean, in like.
But I was expecting some sick shit. Like, he murdered an entire school.
Yeah, it wasn't like that bad. I mean, I'm okay with.
This is what they expected Juliet. They expected her to kill a person. Like,
right. Yeah, like it is interesting. They're like, yeah, like there's like some things that they're like cool with, and then other things that, like yeah, you have to kill, like Juliet, you have to like kill somebody, but just don't do it in like too gruesome of a way.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, so it's just
Or we'll
interesting.
banish you like we did your brother.
Right, yeah.
It's a tight line. She's got to
Mhm.
walk there.
Mm-hmm.
But Talia's like, over my dead body, will you stake our son?
Yeah, as she should. But
let's see. Then we get some political talk with Margot and Snake Daddy. They're going to be summoned early to the Legacy Order of the Malkia or whatever. And what do you think is the best excuse for when your husband ate your mother?
Yeah.
And she happens to be the matriarch of this whole legacy thing.
Yeah.
What should they tell them?
I know. I don't know what they're gonna tell them. I think they're probably gonna try to like turn it around and just be like, maybe Margot is gonna be like, I'm in charge now. Don't worry about like she's gone, or like maybe just say something vague.
Yeah, but they're gonna want to know what happened.
Yeah.
These legacy vamps are supposed to be like really hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Did we just find out? Did we already this whole time know how to get rid of legacy vamps? And it's be a snake man and who can eat them?
Yeah, or like maybe not only legacy vampires can kill other legacy vampires.
But the dad wasn't a legacy vampire. She turned him into something different.
I thought he was. No. He was like
That's why
fake.
he was dying. Remember? He was dying during that episode.
Okay, got it.
He might be now. Maybe whatever she did to him made him a legacy vampire now. I don't think so.
Okay.
But I just realized a legacy vampire has been killed.
Yeah, right.
By the dad.
Right.
And I really didn't realize that until this moment.
Yeah.
We know how to kill legacy vampires.
Yeah, you just eat them.
Eat them.
Or like have a snake eat them.
The same way I kill cheeseburgers. Just like down the hatch.
Yeah. Now we know.
Okay. We get a good fight scene. I thought that was a good fight scene between the brothers. The season as a whole was lacking action fight scenes wise, but I enjoyed the scene in front of the monsters headquarters house.
Yeah, like the two
Theo and
fighting.
Apollo,
yeah.
because Theo had escaped.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Let's see. They didn't really explain how some people get turned and others don't. Like, Cal didn't get turned, but Theo did. Seems a little
right, because Cal got bit too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
And the redneck guy that Eleanor was banging. It almost
seemed like Juliet didn't really know why. Because remember, she was like, I didn't mean. I was just trying to drain him.
Right. So she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah. So like, it seems like
maybe that's really why they're mad at her, because she can't even say that she was trying to save him. Like,
well, that's have a good excuse. Cal called her out on that. That was like one of their few like moments that they had in the episode where Cal called her out on that. She's like, don't use the excuse that you don't know what you're doing, like that's so lame or whatever.
But yeah, you're right, it seems like she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess we don't really know if she knew or not, but that's what it seemed. That's what she claimed.
But then they have the big breakup, and you and I were laughing at this part, not because, like, the breakup was good, the actors did a good job, but, Juliet is going to be like, this is exactly what my family wanted, and Cal is going to reasonably be like, I'm not really thinking about our relationship right now, my brother just got turned into a vampire. My parents are maybe gonna break up. I don't, everything is crumbling around us. I'm not, and Cal is like, I don't really care about your family.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It seems like Cal has more.
Whose side are you on? Team Cal or Team Juliet?
Like, what do you mean by whose side am I on?
Well, Cal is on the side of like, get out of my face, you ruined our relationship. Like, she was totally for saving their relationship until she found out Juliet had turned Theo. And Juliet is like, no, you're giving in. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep being Romeo and Juliet. We have to stay together. What about our relationship?
I can't choose because, like, I kind of see Juliet's point of view. Like, she was just trying to help, She wasn't, like, even if she did it on purpose, even if she turned Theo on purpose, like, she would have been trying to help, because otherwise he would have died. And if
she wasn't. She was trying to. But you're right. She was trying to let him die with dignity.
Yeah, exactly. She was just trying to, because he woke up and he said, "Help me," and so
that was tough. Yeah.
So like
she had to do something.
She was doing something either.
Why didn't she explain more? I didn't see a whole lot of explaining. She was just kind of like,
I know.
I turned him.
I mean, she should have just like said, she should be like, "Kel, like, can we just sit down and can I just explain my thought process?
Can we just get some coffee?
Yeah.
Can we just
like,
go get
I just feel like the communication needed to be better, and maybe we would have avoided
Well, they're
this whole fight.
teenagers,
Yeah.
you know, so they haven't learned yet.
Yeah.
The way you and I, we have such good communication.
Exactly.
How messed up is it when Theo's dad is like, "Look, I promised your mom that I would avenge her death, and the way that I'm going to do it is by killing her vampire son."
He like evokes that.
Ooh.
That it just added to how messed up it was.
Yeah.
And it's just the whole thing was.
I was kind of thinking like, I don't know that that's what his mom would have wanted,
right.
Jack.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
But yeah, we already talked about this. I thought Aubin Wise, who plays Talia, just nails all of these scenes where she is just fighting for her son.
Totally. I could feel her emotional, like, just,
performance of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Breakout star. I do feel like Talia's the breakout character we talked about that from the finale.
Yeah, totally.
When the brothers like hug each other, I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, that was really sad. And like at one point, like they like touch heads or something like that. Like Apollo like touches Theo's head, and but then he was still like, "Yeah, I'm cool with killing him." And I'm like, "What? But didn't you guys have a moment like do what you still?"
But then we get another.
Also disappointed in Apollo, because he was like,
but Apollo was literally like gonna let himself be sacrificed.
I guess he had like mixed emotions about it.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he was screaming at Theo, "Just do it, do it!" So there was a lot of deep stuff. I also hard cried when they did the flashback of a young 7-year-old Theo with a younger Talia, and
that was so sweet. Yeah,
I was just like, she's such a good mommy.
I know.
I was just crying.
I loved that. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it because it made like the relationship make a lot more sense, and then it just and like we were like annoyed that they like didn't really explain their like family dynamics earlier on, but then
this is why
the fact that they saved it and showed it in this moment, it like made it even more of like an impactful, dramatic. Episode.
I disagree. I always think you don't want your viewers not knowing what's going on.
Okay.
And I think all of the world building stuff that they left out, I'm in. I'm cool. I remember when we had Nika on, Nika was like, I want to know everything immediately. Like, no, like shows can't give us everything immediately or we're bored. But I feel like this being a surprise, like, first of all, it wasn't a surprise. We learned along the way the deal was that there's 3 kids. 2 of them are by birth Talia's. One of them, they're all Jack's kids. He's the father. Talia is a stepmom, but really we see in this episode, actually, she's not a stepmom. And I think you're right. I think they purposely wanted to be like, we didn't need to identify her as a stepmom because she doesn't identify herself as a stepmom. Yeah. But I still would have enjoyed those early episodes more just knowing the dynamics personally.
Maybe just explained it. Yeah, that's true.
I honestly, because I was confused when he was talking about my mom. I was like, are they, is he like a friend of the family at one point? I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah, like if you're like confused and it just takes away from like
right,
your enjoyment
exactly.
Of the show. I get that. Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty obvious Talia was gonna bust him out.
Yeah.
I do you think the dad knew and just like gave that to her? Because he was practically like, here, I'm gonna just go. I have to poop. I gotta take a poop. I'm gonna be gone about 20 minutes. Not gonna look. Have the space.
But didn't she like say? I thought she was like, yeah, I need to say goodbye to him.
I think she said I need to say goodbye, and then he was the one who was like, I'll let you do this alone.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Like, clearly she's gonna bust him out. How many times did she tell him over my dead body?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess he should have known or suspected on some level, but
At first I was thinking like, you idiot! And now I'm thinking he knew.
Yeah, maybe.
And he let her, even if it was a subconscious thing.
Maybe, yeah. Possibly.
Talia drops Theo off at Oliver and Carmen's. Surprise.
Yeah.
The show was like I was kind of expecting her to drop him off at Margot's.
I thought so too, yeah. I thought that was interesting, actually. I think that was like a good choice.
I agree. I like
Makes
see.
things
I
more
like
interesting.
those types of surprises.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also we learn at the end of this episode Theo's full name, which I thought was really cool. Theseus.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't
Very
pick up
cool
on that.
name.
Yeah.
Oliver references it, and then
Okay.
also I think Jack or Talia references it. I
Oh,
thought
cool.
that was cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess they all have like these like kind of like Greek names or. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Is Calliope Greek?
Yeah. I think
You're
so.
right. Oh my
Yeah.
god, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Yeah, Apollo, Calliope, and Theseus. Okay. And then we end things with that interesting.
Yeah, the monster scene. Yeah.
Here's my yard full of monsters.
Yeah, like it was like kind of goofy. Like it was like
It was
little
very
goofy
goofy.
looking, but it was
I didn't
also
mind.
interesting. It was like, okay, I want to see where they're going with
I've
this.
been saying all season I want more of the goofy monsters that we
Yeah.
saw in the second episode at whenever they went to the grave. I've been saying give us more of the goof.
Yeah. So maybe they will, season 2 if we get.
Maybe they'll have a bigger budget in season 2, please. More fight scenes, more if it was gonna mostly be the hunters versus the vampires, they should have just made it vampires versus hunters. Don't say, oh, there's this whole world of cool monsters and stuff, and then show us them in like 2 episodes. I hope season 2 we see more monsters and more fight scenes and rampages.
Yeah. Well, like maybe they have to like build up the characters and the world and like set things up in the first season. Then hopefully they'll in the second season we'll be able to like explore the world a bit and see all the cool monsters and stuff.
Ro, I had read online some grumblings that not all of the fan base was happy with this finale. I thought it was a good finale. What did you think?
Yeah, overall I thought it was pretty good. Like what problems because they ended in a fight or
I don't know why. I just
okay.
saw people thought the finale was weaker than obviously not everybody, but some people thought the finale was weak compared. And I wondered if a little bit of it was like it was so predictable that Juliet had obviously turned Theo, and that is the main plot of the episode. So the whole episode I'm sitting there going, okay, just show us the part where Juliet turns Theo, and I wondered if the predictability of it maybe factored in.
To me, I think the disappointing part I think I liked the episode overall, but I would say like the most disappointing part was the lack of the Calliope, Juliet.
But they had their big
interactions
on the lawn.
Yeah, I just like the episode wasn't. I feel like they weren't the main focus of the episode, and they were kind of like almost. Yeah, like side characters, not side characters, but like there was other stuff going on, and there wasn't a lot of like interaction between just them. So I think that to me that was like slightly disappointing. But,
okay, maybe you're right. Speaking of who we got to see interact, I was so disappointed that there was no Ben in the finale. I really hope we see him more in season 2. Who would you like to see more of in season 2?
I think like,
you're like Talia. This was Talia's episode. You're like not enough Talia.
No. Not that there was not enough Talia, but like I feel
just
like
continue bringing the Talia.
Yeah, I feel like Julia and Margot have like emerged as like these strong women. These mothers, these badasses. These
you mean Talia and Margot?
Sorry, yeah, Talia and Margot.
I don't think Calliope's impregnated her yet.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Talia and Margot.
Wouldn't that be cool if the special skill Calliope got from being bit by a legacy vampire was that she could impregnate women?
Yeah.
You can tell we're a maturing lesbian couple. Sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm like interested to see like how to see what happens with the mothers and how they like evolve and like kind of navigate the new world. Like Margot navigating the world with her mom being gone and like trying to figure out the stuff with their vampire crew, and then Talia, Talia dealing, kind of mediating between her husband and then Apollo and.
Okay, so you want to see more moms.
Everybody. Yeah, like
I think your views are in line with the fan base's views.
And like if there was like more interaction between
if
the
they
moms,
happened to
if they were like
do another bicep grab, if they wanted to do like a
that.
fight scene and then later in the season have it go from like a fight scene to like they just start making out, they just can't help it, the fight turns into a mate, like I would be okay with that.
I would not be disappointed with that.
Well, listeners, thank you so much for listening to LezCast. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you listen. Leave me a review and I will read it. Also, the end of this season has happened, but I will be recapping future shows, future queer, women-loving women shows. I have a Gentleman Jack episode lined up to talk about with my good friend Ida, so that will be coming out next week. Make sure you stay tuned. This is not over. We have more amazing content coming your way. And I want to thank my beautiful wife, Ro. You can't tell, folks, but I just grabbed her hand in a very romantic way. And